Welcome back to Agile Project Academy. If you're preparing for your Scrum Master interview, you know that behavioral questions about real-world scenarios are critical. Today, we're diving deep into 5 of the toughest questions you'll face. These questions test not just your knowledge of Scrum theory, but your actual judgment, leadership, and conflict resolution skills under pressure. Let's get started and supercharge your interview preparation. You are watching Agile Project Academy, the best channel for leveling up your Agile career. Make sure to hit subscribe and the notification bell so you don't miss our latest content. Our focus today is on the top 5 most impactful Scrum Master interview questions, addressing conflict, challenges, successes, and key stakeholder management. We will tackle each one step by step. First up is question 1. Please tell me about a conflict where developers and testers disagreed, and how did you handle it as a Scrum Master? In one of my teams, a major conflict arose during the sprint review. Developers felt testing was too slow, rejecting code based on subjective criteria. The testers felt the code quality was consistently poor and rushed. The core issue was a lack of a clear agreement on quality standards. To handle this, I facilitated a dedicated session outside the daily Scrum, focusing solely on reviewing and refining our definition of done. I brought both developers and testers together to jointly define measurable quality metrics and clear handoff criteria. The outcome was positive. By getting joint ownership over the DoD, the conflict dissipated. Developers knew exactly what was expected, and testers had objective criteria for acceptance, leading to smoother sprint flow and better collaboration. Moving to question 2, please tell me a challenge where you failed as a Scrum Master. This is where you demonstrate self-awareness and learning. My failure involved technical debt. The team continually flagged aging infrastructure during retrospectives, but I prioritized pushing new features requested by the product owner, failing to effectively translate the technical risk into business impact for the PO. The lesson learned was invaluable. Failing to address technical debt eventually led to a major system outage and slowed our velocity significantly. I learned that my responsibility is to effectively elevate technical risks, using business terminology like opportunity cost and downtime cost, not just technical jargon. Now for question 3. Please tell a challenge where you succeeded as a Scrum Master. Show how your actions directly led to a measurable positive outcome. My biggest success was transforming a low-performing team that was heavily siloed. Developers only developed, testers only tested, creating bottlenecks and low morale. They had stagnant velocity and blamed each other for delays. I tackled this by introducing mandatory cross-training and pairing sessions. We dedicated 10% of each sprint to team investment, where developers paired with testers, and vice versa. This built empathy and shared understanding. The result? Within 3 months, the team's velocity increased by 25%. Silos broke down, and team morale soared, turning a low-performing group into one of the highest-performing teams in the organization. Question 4 addresses feedback loops. Suppose if your team members are not speaking in the sprint retrospective, how will you handle this situation? A silent retrospective often signals a lack of psychological safety or fatigue with repetitive formats. The last thing you should do is pressure individuals directly to speak, as this reinforces the discomfort. I would change the format immediately. I use techniques like mad, sad, glad, where everyone writes anonymous feedback on sticky notes first, or the sailboat exercise, which is more gamified and visual. This lowers the barrier to entry and generates content for discussion. Finally, question 5 involves stakeholder management. If your product owner is not doing their job properly or is very busy and not giving enough time to groom stories or attend daily calls, how will you handle this situation? An absent product owner creates an information vacuum, leading to wasted development time. This is a critical impediment that impacts the entire team's ability to deliver value. My strategy involves 2 steps. First, have a candid discussion with the PO and their manager about the time commitment needed. Second, I would train a senior team member, perhaps a lead developer, to act as a proxy PO or triage person to answer immediate questions and help with initial backlog refinement, reducing the PO's burden while ensuring the team moves forward. Mastering these 5 questions demonstrates that you are a pragmatic, effective Scrum Master ready to handle real-world challenges. Remember, show your actions, explain your reasoning, and highlight your learning. Good luck with your next interview, and thank you for joining Agile Project Academy.